Hello and welcome to the Womb Centered Healing Podcast. I'm Sama Morningstar, and today I want to share about a new book project. Some of you may be aware that I've been working on the Biomystical Womb Healing book, and that book has had a baby, if you will, and that it became this great grandmother of a book, including multi-generational memoir and mythological retellings of goddess stories and case study practitioners of the biomystical womb healing methods, all weaving together, which is really a long-term project. And another book wanted to be born out of all of the activities that have been taking place to create this epic book. And that book is called Herbal Womb Wellness, and it's a book about, and it's based on my work with Herbal Womb Wellness, which is part of the Biomystical Womb Healing Program, and it focuses on how herbs can support our womb wellness and various practices that herbs that womb wisdom and herbal wisdom practices that I've learned in my goodness over 25 years of practice as a herbal medicine maker and um, caring for my own womb wellness and that of many clients and customers through herbal wisdom. And so I'm a certified vaginal steaming practitioner through Kelly Garza's Steamy Chick work, as well as womb awakening practitioner. And I'm also studying with Aviva Ram and in her botanical medicine for women's course. And so I'm putting together the information that I've been gathering about herbal womb wellness into a workbook that will be, well, or a playbook, if you will, that will be spiral bound, and it will be colorful and beautiful and will give guidelines for how readers can start to create their own herbal womb wellness and womb wisdom practices. So I would just like to show in this video some of the pages. I'll share my screen, some of the pages in the playbook that I've been creating, and I'll share about the Indiegogo campaign too, because I'm not a graphic artist. I got a wonderful template. This is the cover. The design template helped me to design the cover, and it's helping me to make beautiful pages. And I will be needing to invest in a graphic designer and formatting and editing to get the book all set up. So these are the table of content pages, and this is all just really rough draft right now. Here's my, I had to condense this epic multi-generational autobiographical work from the Biomystical Womb book into 5 pages for the workbook. So we're not going back 3 or 4 generations like in the other book. So there's the 5 pages of that. And then it's just going to be, descriptions of this approach, and then different activities, assembling your womb wellness team. We so often neglect to gather a team of skilled practitioners and limit ourselves to one practitioner or one doctor. And really, we need a more holistic approach. So I list and talk about different womb wellness team members and give places for people to write notes about who their team members are and how we know someone is a good team member for us. So I ask questions about, your relationship with your doctor, and do you feel heard, seen, understood, listened to, acknowledged, or not? And then give suggestions about, how can we remedy that if you don't feel those ways about your doctor or your other practitioners. So I invite people to reflection and about that, and then also about friends and family members. Who do you trust? Who would be supportive of your womb wellness journey? And then I also give some tips on how to know when to seek professional support. There's a lot of misinformation out there that and we haven't been educated about what are signs of more serious ailments in the womb, and that we would want to go get some diagnostics about if those were happening. So I give some information about that. I share a womb listening practice that we can all connect with our own inner wisdom, and start to listen to that and prioritize that and give ourselves what we wish other people would give us, right? Listening to our core essential wisdom. So I give instructions for that, and then journal pages to just write down what we get when we have that womb listening session with ourselves. And then we go into the womb wellness assessment process, where we learn about the menstrual cycle as a vital sign. And the menstrual cycle really is just as important for understanding our health and well-being as our heart rate and our body weight and our body temperature and these other vital signs. And when we go to the doctor, oftentimes, yeah, they might ask you when your last period was, but not a lot of details. And there's just not a lot of training about the menstrual cycle and what it means. With medical doctors and even gynecologists have a very limited understanding of what the different symptoms in the menstrual cycle actually mean about our overall health and well-being, and when there's signs of imbalance. Acupuncturists and naturopaths have more education about that, and I talk about that in the portion of the book that helps people gather a skilled womb wellness team. So looking at it as a vital sign, learning about the importance of detailed cycle tracking, and I haven't created them yet, but I'll be including some tracking daily planner pages so that you can do your cycle tracking for, like, I'll include 3 months worth of that. You can do your cycle tracking, and you can do your planning for your womb wellness journey in this book. So we talk about the importance of cycle tracking, and then there's questions to answer in the book here about cycle tracking, and what might be getting in your way of tracking your cycle, and reflecting on that. And then I give some options for detailed cycle tracking that might help to to facilitate that for any person that might be having trouble with that, finding ways that work for them. And then there's pages, activity pages about starting to gather the cycle, the important menstrual cycle information. How many days was your last complete menstrual cycle? How many days were each of the last 6 complete menstrual cycles? And looking at has your cycle always resembled the length pattern in the last question, or has it changed? Describe any changes you've noticed. Describe what was happening in your life when you had any big changes in cycle length. And cycle length, a lot of people don't realize, is a very important indicator of our overall health and well-being. There's certain things that happen during the menstrual cycle that generally take a certain amount of time to complete. And if it's shorter or longer for the cycle to be happening, that means that there's some kind of a disruption in that, or there could be some kind of an imbalance that's either making those parts incomplete or making them take too long. And so when we look at that, we can start to understand those things. And here I talk about what your cycle length is telling you. So 2 of the things is that there might be some fatigue and energy depletion in the womb. And so I have a series of questions about that. Do you have do you or have you experienced pre-period fresh red spotting? If so, for how many days? So, questions like this to gather, so that somebody who's working with this playbook can gather that information for themselves and take notes on that. And then I talk about how to care for uterine fatigue, how to replenish that energy drain that's often going on. And it's understandable that there would be uterine fatigue in our society that doesn't teach us how to nourish ourselves, how to replenish every month after we bleed, which is a big energy expenditure. We're losing blood every month, and then we have to replenish that blood. And then there's all kinds of other reasons on top of that we get uterine fatigue. We're menstruators, women and other menstruators are often really nurturing other people a lot without receiving that same level of nurturance in return. And so that produces a lot of fatigue, especially in the womb itself. So talk about that. And then I have, then there's going to be assessment pages for this and the other imbalances I'll be talking about, how to calculate your uterine fatigue score, so you can see what degree of uterine fatigue you might be dealing with based on different things like how long is your cycle, do you have any extra bleeding or spontaneous bleeding patterns, or that we can look at heavy bleeding, things like that, and what that means, and then what that means when we interpret the score. That workbook, part of the workbook, helps people will help people look at what their uterine fatigue is about and how to look at the underlying causes of the uterine fatigue, because just the things that I mentioned are just a few of the things, but if you're experiencing anxiety and stress, that's a drain on energy levels, vital energy levels, experiencing serious illness or death of a loved one lately in the family, or sleeping away from home regularly, entering a new relationship, or going through a breakup, or planning a wedding. All of these things on here help bring awareness to, oh yeah, gosh, no wonder I'm fatigued in general. And the womb, our source of creative energy and vitality, a central source of that, is one of the places that gets depleted from these things, and we need to take extra care of ourselves. And we're not taught to take good care of ourselves and really nourish and replenish. We're just taught to go and go and go and go. And so then I start with some pages about the herbs for uterine fatigue. And I've got 3 pages of herbs that help stop extra bleeding, help to nourish and balance the hormones, help to replenish the vital energy and all of that. And then instructions for making teas and infusions. So that's one way to get those herbs, the nutrition and the energy healing benefits of the herbs into our bodies. And then instructions for making oils and balms. I haven't finished this page yet, but that'll be the next set of instructions. There is the oils and balms. And then starting to make the segment giving basic instructions for vaginal steaming. And there's a whole bunch more pages that I'll be working on. Here I started the womb listening journal with more specific questions about uterine fatigue and the other imbalances. I'll have herbal womb listening journal and an herbal womb listening practice where you're not just connecting with your womb, you're also connecting to the plant realm through a meditation, and connecting with our innate ability to communicate with plants and receive wisdom and guidance from the plants directly. This is how people originally learned what plants were good to eat, what plants were poisonous, what plants were medicinal and healthy for us in various illnesses and injuries that needed help. So, and then there's just more and more that's happening as I create this. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this book with folks. So check out my Indiegogo campaign. I'll put the link to that in the comments, or in the description here of this video, of this podcast, so that you can check it out and support and pre-order your version, your copy of this book. And there'll be lots of perks in there too that will grant you access to some of my training programs and healing services. So check it out. All right, hope to see you very soon. Take good care.